Today we're going to head down to the range with Frank Proctor of The Way of the Gun, and he's going to talk to us about some performance shooting aspects and how it applies to the tactical, defensive, and competition skill set.
Hey, what's up shooters? Frank Proctor with Way of the Gun Performance Shooting, back at the range again. Going to cover some more components of performance shooting. In episode 1, I gave you my definition of performance shooting as I see it. We talked about and I gave you a practical example of it. I break it down into 4 components, and they are processing, control, mechanics, and movements. We've talked a few of the earlier episodes about some processing exercises. We did some mechanics work there with the reloads. Start talking about movement a little bit. First piece of movement we're going to talk about is lateral movement. Okay, getting from point A to point B, moving laterally, ready to shoot when we get there. Okay, and we're talking about moving rather, in regards to shooting. So I think we need to be as efficient as possible. Start from A point B, ready to shoot, ready to do a lot of shooting if we have to, and cover a pretty wide target array without moving our feet because that saves us time. And then get to a point B very efficiently with no wasted movement and do it comfortably, ready to shoot when we get there. Okay, we're ready when we arrive at point B. All right, so I'm going to cover a couple different techniques. I call them dance moves. You'll know why later, okay, to cover some different distances. We're going to move in and around these barrels, okay, to give us a defined point A and a point B and a reason to get from that point A to point B, okay. We won't be able to see, all right, without getting to point B. So the barrels are not cover, okay. That cardboard target's not shooting at us, and if it was, this barrel wouldn't stop it. So we're not gonna hide behind the barrel, okay? We're gonna use it as a vision barrier, and if you're training around these things, if you wanna think of it as anything other than a stack of barrels you gotta move around, think of it as a person that you're shooting around. They'd probably rather you not put the rifle up next to their head and shoot, okay? So let's get around these things and clear them enough so that we can shoot, okay? All right, so dance move number 1, all right? So we need to cover 2 to 3 feet. Okay, here's a technique to do that. We start with our shoulder square to the initial target area so we can really work that target, control the gun, and cover a lot of ground without moving our feet. Okay, we need to end up in this 2 to 3 feet on the other side of this barrel. All right, so on the movement side, just on the footwork movement, what we're gonna do is we're gonna lunge out with the foot that's in the direction we need to go. That's gonna be this right foot in this case, right? Lunge out with that foot and let the trail foot slide. All right, based on how far we need to go, we lunge more or less, okay? So going back the other direction, shoulder stay square, lunge out with the left foot, right foot slides. We start stable, we end stable, okay? Now let's add movement in with the gun, okay? So I'm gonna stay kind of tight to these barrels. A lot of times I'll put a stick back here that kind of limits the space we have. So we get some manipulation work out of the rifle. So we'll start with sights on the target, dry fire a shot, gun goes on safe, drop the rifle straight down so we can maneuver, lunge out, get into a good stable position again and shoot. Cool. All right, so that's the electric slide. Allows us to cover 2 to 3 feet and be ready to shoot when we get there. Now, if we need to cover more ground, 5 to 6 feet, there's another technique, okay? Another dance move. All right, so here's how it's gonna go down so that we don't cross our feet, because in the world of tactical shooting, if you cross your feet, the devil's gonna jump out of the ground, grab you, and pull you down. So here. All right, so we're gonna start here, nice and stable, shoulders square. All right, we need to go over there to the other side of that second barrel. So what we're gonna do is keep our shoulders square, open up our hips, point our feet the direction we wanna go, and get a little Saturday Night Fever action out of it. Staying alive, all right? So seriously though, opening up our hips is what keeps our feet from crossing, okay? Hips are pointed that direction. Let's lead with the trail foot, keeping the shoulders square, 1 step and a recovery, and we covered 5 to 6 feet, ready to shoot when we get there. Going back the other way, same. Shoulder square, open up the hips, point the feet, lead with the trail foot, 1 step and a recovery. Let's shoot it live a few times and see how it goes. So we'll start, just a little electric slide, getting from point A to point B, ready to shoot when we get there. All right, now we'll go a little bit further. We need to cover 5 to 6 feet and be ready to shoot when we get there. All right, so there was a couple moves there, a couple dance moves to let us cover a couple specified amounts of distance, ready to shoot when we get there, start stable and end stable. That's what we got for now. You guys come back out and check us again another time. we'll do some more shooting and moving. Take it easy.
Trigger Time TV is brought to you by Crossbreed Holsters, Keltec, Troy Industries, Troy Defense, Talon Ordnance, Eagle Shield, Nemo Arms, Faxon Firearms, Copus Mobile, Black Forge Weapons, Battle Rifle Company, Vertex, Wiley X, Dark Angel, and Meredith Rifles.
I'd like to dedicate this show to my two brothers, Carly and Keith Davis, and my two nephews, Adam and Ethan Davis. I love you guys.
Closed caption provided by Wiley X.